It's the Ruthless Pro Wrestling Podcast. Thank you so much for joining us here and supporting RPW, one of the rising wrestling companies here in the Midwest. Thanks for joining us. I am Peapod. I am 1/3 of the commentary team and one of the main mans. Yes, I said mans because I don't know English very well. Yes, I'm a commentator. That's what's going on. Anyway, one of the people that make this company great and make sure that everything goes well is Mr. Heel Corey.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. Thank you for hanging out and chatting with me. And we got some great stuff coming up because it's show week, baby. It's show week.
Yeah, very busy week for us here at RPW, getting ready for bumps in the night.
Ooh, spoopy, as the kids say.
Very spoopy.
It's very spoopy. It's going to be happening this coming Friday, August 27th. Doors are at 6 p.m. at Burgers and Beers, 6818 South Dixie Highway in Erie, Michigan. Come on out. Tickets are still on sale right now. $20. We got information on our Facebook page, and we are here to just kind of give a little background, give a little hype up, see what's all going on in the world of RPW and what we got in store for this coming Friday with bumps in the night. I'm excited.
I'm very excited.
It's show week. It's always a lot of fun. And of course, we're going to have some fun. Bring your friends, bring your family. RPW's on the rise, baby. And we will tell you why we're on the rise in just a little bit also. Because if you listen to our last episode, which you haven't done so, go listen to it wherever you listen to podcasts from, which obviously you're doing that now because that's how it works. Anyway, check it out, and we have some big news about us teaming up with the good people at ICW No Holds Barred. But first, bumps in the night, Friday, August 27th. We'll kick it off with our friends at Pro Wrestling Edge, sponsoring this matchup. Our friend of the show and a fantastic wrestler, Mr. Schwartzy, is going to be taking on the Kenny Urban.
Yeah, this is going to be an entertaining match. I really like watching Kenny Urban get his ass kicked in the ring, and I can't see a better person to do that than Schwartzy. I want to see Kenny Urban tap skis on Friday.
Schwartzy's been on a tear and literally tapping people out left and right. It's always a phenomenal time, moving up the ranks, trying to go after that RPW championship. So definitely another possible notch in Schwartzy's belt. We talked about this last episode. It's the Mega Mullet Showdown. It's Mr. JJ Garrett going to be taking on the Perminator, Sam Beal. Mullet versus mullet. It's going to be crazy.
Yeah. I don't know if they've figured out the stipulation yet on if we're going to be straightening Sam's mullet or not, or if we're going to have to get a perm for JJ Garrett, but I hope they figure that out before the show.
The ring will be surrounded by hair care products.
Oh, yes. We should definitely figure that out before Friday. We need some beauticians there in the front row.
Yo, there you go.
But both these guys pretty big on the indie scene right now. Both of them are rising stars and they're rising fast. And I couldn't be happier to have them here at RPW.
It's also the first time Sam Beal has come back to RPW since losing the Ruthless Pro Wrestling World title to Justin Kyle.
Justin Kyle's going to be there. I wonder if they're going to have some words. We'll have to check that out.
We'll talk about Justin Kyle in just a little bit. He will be defending the RPW title. But Sage Phillips will be taking on our last episode guest, the gatekeeper of RPW, Mr. Zach Thomas.
Yeah, this is huge for Sage. This is a big step in the right direction. If he's able to pull out a win over Zach Thomas, Sage Phillips is going to be definitely a contender to that you're not going to want to mess with here in RPW.
Been a really big fan of Sage Phillips, and I love seeing the rise. He had a fantastic match last month at Steel Carnage. He got his first win 2 months ago. Zach Thomas, of course, a staple here in RPW. He is the gatekeeper. He is the man that you have to go through if you want to make it in RPW.
Absolutely. It's going to be a tough test, and it's going to be a nail biter for sure. I'm kind of rooting for Sage on this one. Even though I'm a big Zach Thomas fan, I think that would be a huge win for Sage, and I'm excited to see what he does after this.
Zach Thomas also has a little bit of a mean streak going on right now, so the people have to be careful with that one.
Yeah, for sure.
It's Death Threat Army versus Death Threat Army. First off, I didn't know there was like a dozen members of Death Threat Army. They just seem like to multiply. But Tommy Vendetta is going to be taking on fellow DTA member Adam Wick.
Yeah, both these guys have been on a couple of our RPW shows. Both of them have wrestled for us before. Adam Wick, one of the smaller guys, but he is definitely not someone to be messed with in the ring. And of course, Tommy Vendetta, he's, in my opinion, world championship quality. He's had a lot of big wins here in RPW, and he's definitely looking for that opportunity at the world title. I think win over Wick and maybe line up a couple more wins, and we may see Vendetta in the title picture here in RPW.
Could be interesting. He did try to call his shot a few months ago, but see what else he needs to do to prove to those people in RPW that he's deserving to take on Justin Kyle. Speaking of Justin Kyle, he's defending the world title with our guest that we'll be speaking with in just a little bit, Mr. Jake Crist.
That's right. Jake Crist on a winning streak of his own here in RPW. We've seen him on a couple shows. He's definitely impressed us in the back. Justin Kyle said he wanted a sick motherfucker this month at the pay-per-view, and we were like, we got the perfect guy. So Jake Crist just seemed to make sense, and it's going to be crazy. I mean, I don't think there's anything Jake Crist isn't willing to do in that ring, and I know there's nothing Justin Kyle won't do in that ring. So it's going to be insane. It's definitely going to be up there as far as the violence is concerned.
If you're looking for blood and violence, Ruthless Pro Wrestling is the place to be. Tell your friends. If you love the deathmatch scene, we are rising in the deathmatch circles, and we'll kick it off with some of the death matches you're going to find at Bumps of the Night this coming Friday, August 27th. It's a Ruthless Door Derby match. The Dread King Logan, Hoodfoot Mo Atlas. Now, I'm noticing as of late, Mo Atlas doing a little bit more and more, dipping some toes, dipping some feet in the deathmatch scene. Dread King Logan, not too unfamiliar for these, no rules type style of matches. Two heavy hitters in RPW clashing at Bumps in the Night.
Oh, for sure. Blood is not something new to these gentlemen. And both these men will bleed for this sport. And we're going to give them a stage to do that. We got the door derby match. We're going to see a lot of guys going through a lot of doors. So it's going to be brutal. It's going to probably be bloody. And, it's going to be probably one of the hardest hitting matches of the night for sure. These two beefcakes slapping meat.
Big hoss fight, as I like to call it.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, I'm questioning the powers that be on this match, because we have an 8-mile death match, and of course 8 Mile is famously known to be from the Detroit area, and another person that is from the Detroit area that loves to be in the hardcore and deathmatch scenes is Mr. Chuck Stein. He'll be taking on Hot Percy Drews.
Yeah. This is a fun one. When we booked this match out, I got real excited. Obviously, Chuck Stein has been in the deathmatch scene for as long as anyone can remember, I'm sure. And we got Percy Drews, who's just now dipping his toes in the deathmatch scene just this year, finally competing in some deathmatch matches and actually doing pretty well for himself. So this is the first deathmatch we've had him here in RPW, and we figured, who better than Chuck himself? And what better match than an 8-mile deathmatch? Something Chuck should be able to have some fun with Percy with that stipulation for sure.
It was nice knowing Percy, but I don't want to count the guy. I don't want to count the brother out. He is damn good in the ring, and he's tough as nails, and he'll fall down and keep on coming. So
yeah, I'll be praying for him.
In a ghastly Gussets death match. I love the names here in RPW. Absolutely love it. Miss Randy West taking on, I'm very shocked to say this, Insane Lane.
Yeah. This is another one. I mean, we're pulling out all the stops on the road to our show in October. So we got some pretty gnarly death match lined up for you this show. And this one's no different. I'm going to promise you there's going to be a lot of blood in this match. This is going to be a bloody one. Gussets are not something you want to fuck with on accident. So these guys are doing it on purpose. Yeah, I'm excited. Randy West, good luck. Insane Lane, they don't call him Insane Lane for nothing. So it's going to be bloodbath.
Nuts. Absolutely nuts. And speaking of nuts, Herzog is going to be taking on Danger Josh Crane, this time in a carpet strip death match.
All right, I know I just said gussets are terrible, which they are, but carpet strips are also terrible. You do not even want to touch a carpet strip. It's so sharp, it will make you bleed almost instantly. This is another bloodbath, and I'm excited to see Herzog. He has really good expressions. I'm excited to see what kind of expressions we're going to see, what kind of noises he's going to make in that ring. And Josh Crane, he's no one. He's a force to be reckoned with here at RPW, and he's just going out there to prove that he deserves another title shot. So this is just another step on the road back to a rematch someday down the line. Herzog, he's crazy. So it's going to be a challenge for Josh Crane this month.
I mean, first off, let's talk about Josh Crane for a moment and the path the last few months. So if I remember correctly, at Blood, Sweat, and Beers, he was in that match for the Rust Belt Championship. Couldn't get the job done against Dale Patricks. So Dale Patricks became our first inaugural champion. Not only that, now Josh Crane has now been in a glass panes match against Schwartzy. Then he was in a concrete block death match with
Lord Crew.
Yes, thank you. Inside of a cage, mind you. And now we have a carpet strip death match.
Yeah, we're giving him every stipulation in the book that that hasn't been used, at least not lately.
It's insane.
He's one of the guys that comes to us and he says he wants to do crazy shit. So we're gonna oblige as much as we can. We're gonna give him what he wants.
All right, we'll up the crazy shit with another announcement coming up in just a little bit for our October show with ICW No Holds Barred in the Deathmatch Circus. But before then, the Rust Belt Championship will be on the line this coming Friday at Bumps of the Night. Dale Patricks defending the Rust Belt Deathmatch title against Neil Diamond Cutter.
Neil Diamond Cutter. Oh my gosh, this guy is insane. He is the first, I think he's the first death match that we ever filmed in RPW. He did a basement match, and that was crazy. That was a crazy time. He is insane. He's willing to put his body on the line. This may be the biggest challenge for Dale Patricks yet to date, just because he's so unpredictable. Neil Diamond Cutter, so unpredictable, and he's like a badger. He's like a honey badger, and I wouldn't fuck with him. I would not. And this is going to be a general death match too. No certain stipulation. We're going to let them come up with something. So they'll be bringing some special toys up to the ring. But that's up to the gentlemen what they want to bring to the match to use on their opponent. So that'll be exciting to see.
We got Diamond versus Deathmatch Jackass in Dale Patricks. So the two of them against each other. It's going to be some nice toys and some fuckery all around. So be aware of all of that. Again, $20 general admission happening this coming Friday at Burgers and Beers, 6818 South Dixie Highway, Erie, Michigan. Doors open at 6 p.m. So come off of work. Grab yourself your favorite wrestling t-shirt, and if you don't have one, hey, you can buy one from some of the merch people, and or support yourselves and your favorite up-and-coming deathmatch company with an RPW clothing line. And, of course, more cheap plugs at the end of the show. But coming up, we talked to Jake Crist. I'm very excited. This man has been all over the world, has competed for tremendous companies. You talk about, Impact Wrestling and CZW and IWA Mid-South and Shikara and, all the way from Ohio to Mexico to Japan. And now he's here with Ruthless Pro Wrestling. Very excited. I have the man himself, a guy who called actually recently at a recent show a little shit because a lot of the actions has been going on in and also out of the ring. Mr. Jake Crist is joining me tonight. Jake, how are you, sir?
I'm a little under the weather, but I think I'll be able to manage through, my friend. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. During work, with all the rains and everything, you know how Midwestern weather is. It could be raining one day, then bright sun, and then God knows what else. So
Well, yeah, the Midwest weather. 1 second it's raining, next minute it's snowing. The other 1 minute later, it's like summer out. So yeah, we get all four seasons in one day sometime.
yeah, if for anybody who's listening who's not from the Midwest and it doesn't understand like how crazy, especially Ohio weather can be, it can be that insane. We're not joking when we talk about all four seasons in one time. So, I do want to touch about this. So you've been almost close to what, like 20 years in this business, getting close to that point.
Yes, sir. Next year, July 27th will be my 20-year anniversary in pro wrestling.
That is incredible. So I have to ask, with all your history and all the places you've been to and all the different states, cities, countries, promotions, everything, what is it about pro wrestling now that you maybe didn't expect, or maybe like the evolution of it in the past 20 years from locker room to locker room to, matches, everything? What are some of the things that you've really been like enjoyed or eye opened or surprised, things like that?
You know, I never really had a clue or even really thought about what wrestling was going to be like or like become when I first started out. Now being in it for 20 years, it's like night and day. When I first started, I feel like I was the last of like a dying breed. I've got broken by a bunch of me and a bunch of kids, a bunch of our friends. We built a ring and welding class, and we put it in Dustin Ray's backyard or his barn. We end up getting trained by this guy named Bill Kovaleski. Fast forward about a year or so into the wrestling business, I go to Cincinnati to further my education in this business with Les Thatcher, Cody Hawk, Matt Stryker, Chad Collier, Nigel Guinness. I'll stop dropping names at this this time, but I went furthered my education there, and I literally got my ass beat time and time and time again because I was 130 pounds, soaking wet, fresh out of high school, coming into a man's world. And HWA had the developmental with WWE, and it's actually WWF at the time. But they had the developmental, and I was literally wrestling men that were fighting for their jobs for television. So naturally, being a young kid and brand new into HWA and being nervous and green, I messed up a lot. So I got my ass beat time and time again. So like now things have changed, I don't think, you can get away with doing stuff like that. You know what I mean? So like that's the two things that are kind of different for me. You wouldn't see that nowadays, which I think is a good thing.
I think so. When you talk about development of a lot of wrestlers and lots of different styles and like the 80s and the 90s thoughts of wrestling and those men and women, you have to be huge, strong. The big internet story right now. Younger than 30, over 6 foot. 300 pounds of muscle and everything. No small guys, things like that. Women who are look like they're right out of the centerfold of a Playboy, who can barely can do a bump, things like that. That world is not there anymore. It's filled with such fantastic characters and fantastic men, women, and other sexualities and what people identify as. It's truly a really inclusive world nowadays.
Absolutely. It's amazing. Wrestling truly is for everyone, and I love it. So it's anyone can actually come and join us. It's not like it was when I tried to break in. And like I said, 20 years ago, it's a long time, but I would have never, pictured the evolution of way it is gone, and just being in the business, this short amount of time. But it's not short, but long. You get what I'm saying. It feels short to me. It's like I blinked and I'm here.
Yeah, you've done such incredible work with all over the place, and with individual and tag team and everything. The world of wrestling. When you go into independent locker rooms or like even backstage or RPW or people again, do you get people to talk to you or ask you about advice or anything? Because you're like basically a living veteran on the stage now.
Thank you, man. Yeah, absolutely. A lot of younger guys get a hold of me, ask me to watch the match. There also is a lot of guys that come up after their match and ask, "Hey, did you happen to see this?" So it was like, I unfortunately no, because you didn't ask me beforehand. But the people that asked me beforehand, "Hey, Jake, will you take your time out and watch my match and give me feedback?" I love that, and it happens on a show-to-show basis, and it really warms my heart that people would ask for my opinion to get better with wrestling. And I'm also one of those guys that are going to I'm not going to hold anything back. If you messed up or stuff like that, in my opinion, I'll give you different ways to try to fix it. Like I'm one of those guys that try to explain something to people that just like try to break it down and give them a couple different reasons why it could work a different way or why it didn't work, if that makes any sense.
That makes sense.
But it also kind of switched through over the years where this is guys ask me, my fifth match in, if you watch our match, or what feedback, and depend upon where you've been and what you've done in the business. So that's always kind of been one of those things that people have always kind of gravitated towards me to say, "Hey, Jake, will you watch my match?" The difference is when I first started doing this to now is when I first started, guys actually wanted to know that feedback and wanted to get better. But like nowadays, guys just want the pat on the back and say, "Hey man, you did a great job," versus what they really did wrong and trying to get better and progress. That's the difference in pro wrestling from getting in 20 years ago to now, if that makes any sense. People want, "Hey man, what did I, tell me that I did good versus what I did wrong."
And I think that could go for a lot of ways for a lot of things beyond pro wrestling. Like, a lot of people, you have to be, you can be complimentable and critical at the same time. You say, "This is good, this could be worked on," things like that.
You give that compliment sandwich.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's exactly right.
And that's exactly, what I've learned over the years that you got to do, because you don't want to destroy, somebody's soul. Like you want to coach them through, especially like the hard times. Like I know what it's like to go through the curtain and just have the worst match that you could possibly have. Sometimes it just happens. Sometimes the chemistry is not there. Sometimes, translation might be lost. It could be a number of things of why this match was bad. But I've had horrible stinkers of matches where I've came back through the curtain and you just like, why did I do that? You know what I mean? You just sink in your own misery. You're just like, bleh. So like, when guys come back like that, you totally got to give that, compliment sandwich, just so I don't want to run anybody off either. You know what I mean?
You want to see everybody be successful, but you also want to see people grow, and you can't grow unless you fall down and then you get back up and you learn from the mistakes.
Yeah. If you gotta keep riding that bike. How many times did you fall off your bike when you first started to learn to ride it?
Tons.
I fell off mine a ton. Yeah. So you got to scrape off your elbow, the gravel in your knee, and jump on your bike and keep pedaling.
And I find it very interesting. This kind of ties in because we got Bumps in the Night coming up August 27th, and that is going to be at Burgers and Beers. And you haven't seen it already, check us out on social media and get your tickets now. But you have a title match against a man that actually holds you in very kind regards, and it's our champion and our first ever guest for this RPW podcast, Mr. Justin Kyle. He even tweeted out recently saying, quote, "I had a private conversation with Jake Crist early in my career. I would have been done with wrestling that night if we hadn't. He has my respect for that, and he always will. Now we are here." And that here is at Bumps in the Night for the RPW title. What's your relationship with Justin Kyle? Can you tell us a little bit of what was that quick conversation? If you can, in what's going into this.
I will say this. I do remember the conversation, but it was a private. If he wants to, tell it, it's more than happy. That I'm cool with that. But that the private conversation was between me and him, and I don't want to speak about that. But we are here. We are here at this moment, and here being, I'm. It's all full circle for me. To me, especially when he was, on the outs and trying to, bringing him back in or coaching through, like, oh man, like we all go through this stuff like that, whatever, it may have been, but the fact is we are here, and it's all full circle to me. And I can't wait to go out there and show that we are going to absolutely kill it. We're going to murder it. We're going to have the match of the night. I'm looking forward to it. So I'm pumped. I'm motivated, especially with him sharing that on Twitter. And I'm really, really pumped and excited to look forward to it. And I can't wait to meet him face to face in the ring. I can't wait to see what he's got, baby.
He's been on a tear since he's won the title. He's been on a tear in general here in RPW. Bumps in the Night, Friday, August 27th. I keep saying October. We got big things going on in October. That's where my mind's at. Friday, August 27th. Doors there at 6 p.m. at Burgers and Beers, 6818 South Dixie Highway in Erie, Michigan. Justin Kyle defending the RPW World title against Jake Crist. Now, Jake, lots of crazy things happening in your world. So if we want to get in touch with you, how do we do so?
Hit me up on Twitter, Instagram. I'm on the Jake Crist, Facebook. I like to post videos and stuff like that. You can totally hit me up on there too. It's just my name. It's just their name on Facebook. So yeah, hit me up. Please follow me Instagram and Twitter, the Jake Crist.
And before I let you go, because I know you're a retired man doing all international travels and everything.
You gotta keep rocking and rolling, baby.
Absolutely. Tell me, what is it about this promotion, this company, that really drawn you into? Because there's independent companies all across the country, and it's more than just hey, I'm booked here, or I get paid well, or whatever. There's got to be something here that brings people back, that sucks people in. What is it about RPW that sucks you in?
I just love the atmosphere. Like the atmospheres of the show, the atmosphere in the locker room. Everyone in the locker room was really cool. It was an awesome experience for me. That's why I keep coming back. I'm one of those guys. If I have a bad experience with a company being 20 years in, then I just won't ask to come back, or won't ask for return dates. But immediately I had to ask for return dates after the first show that I did. It was amazing. So I love the atmosphere. I love what the fans throw at me, and the being in the back's amazing, and I love all the boys in the back, so that's why I keep coming back.
We have a really fun time commentating your stuff, and on a personal note, myself, I mean, I've watched you in your times, in Ring of Honor and CZW, and even when I was in college, when I was first getting into the world of independent wrestling. So seeing me now in my mid-30s and being a part of the RPW team and talking to you and meeting you and seeing you live in person, it's quite a cool experience. So I appreciate everything you've done, and I can't wait for more.
Thank you, man. I'm looking forward to see what's to come, my friend. Actually, I know what's going to become, because I'm going to hold the championship, my friend.
You're gonna have a new champion. We could have a new champion.
For sure. And fans are going to give me hell, and I'm going to love it.
Appreciate it so much, Jake. You take care of yourself, and we'll see you at Bumps in the Night.
Thank you so much.
Wonderful time with Jake Crist. It was a hell of an interview. I didn't even realize going into it that he was going into almost close to 20 years in this industry. It was great to talk to him. He's all over the place, wrestling left, right, everywhere. It's so exciting to see Jake Crist and somebody of his caliber here in RPW.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm sorry I wasn't able to partake on the question asking, but yeah, very interesting guy. You love to see it here in RPW.
So the biggest announcement that we talked about, the last episode we spoke about, is that Ruthless Pro Wrestling is joining the ranks with ICW No Holds Barred out of the New York area. They are coming to Michigan for a 2-night extravaganza they're calling Deathmatch Circus. And tickets are on sale right now. Get them fast. Tickets are moving left and right on this for both weekends, but RPW will actually have a show within the Deathmatch Circus happening on night 2. And all of the events happening during the Deathmatch Circus that weekend will be streaming live on IWTV.
That's right. October 1st and 2nd, we team up for Deathmatch Circus. This is a huge show for ICW. They do every year. I think this is the second year that they're doing it, the Deathmatch Circus. We are very proud to be a part of it. It's going to be Friday and Saturday. It's in Fenton, Michigan. I know you already mentioned this stuff, but I'm super excited about it. Get your tickets now. Front row is sold out for the whole weekend. No more front rows left. So if you're hoping to get what's good of what's left before they sell out, get your tickets now. You can order them online. Yeah, it's going to be insane. It's going to be insane. We got a show on night 2 at 3:00 on Saturday. We're going live on IWTV with Inked in Blood is the name of the show.
So we've already announced 2 matches for Inked in Blood on our Facebook page. We'll get to those in just a moment, but I'd be remiss if I didn't talk quickly and give them a cheap plug. Not only are we honored to be with one of the rising, close to one of the biggest deathmatch companies in the country right now, with No Holds Barred ICW events, and I've seen some of these events on IWTV. They are nuts. They're insane. They replace the ring ropes with chains. Shit's wild. Some of the people that you like here at RPW has competed in ICW No Holds Barred. It's crazy. And they've already announced a couple of matches themselves. International Deathmatch superstar Sadiqa is going to be taking on Mickey Knuckles. And of course, John Wayne Murdoch will be defending his title against Dale Patricks. So it's going to be nuts on their end. And that's all happening throughout the weekend. There's going to be more matches. So go check out ICW New York. ICW No Holds Barred. Their Facebook page says ICW New York. It's the same company. Just go check it out. It's really rad. But Inked in Blood. Us live streaming 3:00 Eastern time, and figure out your other time zones wherever you're listening to. Anyway, IWTV live. We already have 2 announced matches in Inked in Blood, the very first one. I'm very honored and very excited to see this one. Danny DeManto taking on Reed Bentley.
Yeah, this is huge. Danny obviously is ICW. He's the guy. So for him to be taking place or having a match take place on our card that weekend, that's a huge honor. And he's taking on Reed Bentley. Awesome deathmatch wrestler in Reed Bentley. We love him here at RPW. We've had him out a couple times. He always impresses. And this match is going to be insane. It's going to be a good match.
It's a cabins and doors death match. So be aware and be prepared for all of that.
Oh yes. I know you're not hip on the death match. You know what a cabin is? It's like how like a log cabin is built, like with wooden logs.
Yes.
Instead of wooden logs, you use light tubes.
Of course. Because of course.
Yes. Yes. So it's a lot of glass.
I think before that weekend, I need to brush up on a lot of my death matches and everything, especially if
terminology and all that.
My terminology, I gotta be on it. Travis and I gotta be on it.
Make a chart, like a picture chart of like what it is and what they call it, what you think it's called, what it's really called.
Yeah, it's gonna be wild.
Have Travis put that together for you. He'll probably be able to help you out.
I think so. He is a little bit more, when it comes to the world of death matches, he's a little bit more experienced than I am, but I am very honored to be tag teaming with him on that weekend when we talk about it. Ink and Blood, of course, October 2nd. We've also just announced this match just a day or so ago in and I love saying this, a 200 light tube weed whacker fuckfest. It's the name of the match, people.
Yes.
John Wayne Murdoch taking on Danger Josh Crane.
Yeah. Remember when I earlier when I mentioned Josh Crane's the kind of guy, he's like, I want something real fucked up to do in my match, you know, and we are happy to make his wishes come true. So yeah, weed whacker match. This is our first weed whacker match here in RPW. It might be our last weed whacker match. I don't know. I've never seen a weed whacker match in person, and I don't know how to feel about this. It seems it scares me a little bit. It scares me, to be honest.
How many
200 light tubes? You know, I mean, that's a lot. But
yeah,
weed whacker though, bro. I've been accidentally hit on the ankle with a weed whacker, and it was the worst day of my life. So I can only imagine what kind of day these gentlemen are going to have. They got to wrestle other events on this show. I mean, they're wrestling all weekend long. And they're going to do a weed whacker match at 3 o'clock on a Saturday. Holy shit.
We got more matches coming up for Inked in Blood coming up October 2nd during the Deathmatch Circus with ICW No Holds Barred. Get your tickets now. They're selling out. Of course, get your tickets now for this coming Friday for Bumps in the Night. $20. General admission at Burgers and Beers. And more info. Facebook. It's facebook.com/Ruthless Pro Wrestling Official. And Twitter and Instagram, it's Ruthless Pro 419. Also Patreon. If you like what you see in RPW, you want to help support us and get some secret stuff, stash, first shot at tickets, ring used items, and so much more. Patreon.com/Ruthless Pro 419. Plus, check us out on YouTube at RPW Productions because we're going to be uploading free matches from cards from the past. So you can enjoy it and then share with all your friends on social media. Tell them, hey, this is this rad company called Ruthless Pro Wrestling. You should go check it out. They got this one guy. He's a loud bald man, calls himself Vegetable. He sounds great. Let's go. But
I don't know if they're not going to know you're bald.
I know, but that's the catchphrase, man.
I will say you do sound bald on that. You know what?
Thank you. I try to. I do sound bald. But in all seriousness, very honored, very excited for Ruthless Pro Wrestling and everything going on. Bumps of the Night coming up this Friday, August 27th. We have Inked in Blood coming up in October. And in September, we're just going to be preparing and dropping episodes with some of your favorites in the independent scene and RPW who's jumping into our ring. And Corey, anything else you want to add?
Yes, I have a special announcement for those of you that waited all the way to the end of the episode. Is that the Dabski Invitational will be happening on Friday. It is our pre-show match. So get there. Doors open at 6. Get there at 6 so you can get a view of that pre-show match, the Dabski Invitational. Matthias Thrasher is defending it. So check that out. We got a bunch of new guys coming in this month. It's going to be an exciting match. There's your little end of the video. You get rewarded for watching the whole thing.
So there you go. So go check us out.
Got
another match. Go check it out.